Hello, kia ora. My name is Marianne Murphy, and I am an emotional and social intelligence development speaker, coach, and trainer. And today I'd like to share with you a little bit of information about developing the emotional and social intelligence in our youth. So over the past 30 years that I've been working both in the education and corporate sectors to develop leaders, teams, and youth social and emotional intelligence, one of the things that I've noticed is that our youth are very much heading into a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. No, and with the best of intent, schools are trying a number of different approaches to building student self-management, their agility, resiliency, and relational skills. But a lot of these actions are disconnected, siloed, or not drawn from evidence-based practice, and are somewhat surface level in their approach. So I want to share with you 4 different levels of my Poutama Unshakeable partnership program. And let's see if you can identify where you are so that you can increase the collective emotional and social intelligence capacity and capability within your school's context. So here we go. The first level that I would like to share with you is the unshakable. So an unshakable school community is one that has multifaceted and responsive approaches to developing the emotional and social intelligence of their whole collective. It also is a level where there is collective consciousness. So no one walks past any standard of behavior or anything that needs to be addressed. And also people are collectively holding each other above the line and operating in a way that helps others develop their social and emotional intelligence as well. So it's collective consciousness and ownership. There is also embedded understanding and language around social and emotional intelligence. So we have collective mental models around what it is and what it means and the languaging that we need to use to be able to develop an embeddedness and a consistency across your organisation. There is also deliberate acts of integration into your curriculum. So there is no ad hoc approach to this. It is deliberately embedded and integrated into your school curriculum. There are also what you would see at the unshakable level are collaborative partnerships. So this is where we have collaborative partnerships with parents, teachers, students, so that we are all on the same page and having those collective conversations and working together to help develop an unshakable student. So perhaps your organisation is unshakable. Or maybe even you are operating at what I call the strategic level. So at the strategic level, what you will notice is a tiered approach to emotional intelligence development. So there may be some approaches within the curriculum. There may be maybe some withdrawal groups, and there may be some intensive one-on-one development for specific children that need it. You'll also see proactive approaches to behaviour and well-being. So people won't walk past things, they will address it, and there's a proactive approach to actually supporting people to develop. There's a common language and understanding around social and emotional intelligence development. So you are all singing off the same song sheet, you know what it's about, you know the elements, and you can speak the language involved with it. There is also planned, evidence-based and visibility within your curriculum. So what you would see is a very conscious approach to planning that includes the looking at the evidence of where the students are in terms of their emotional and social intelligence, and then crafting through deliberate acts of teaching some specific approaches to developing the areas of need or leveraging off their strengths. You will also see deliberate partnering with whānau or parents, so that there is a much more connected and strategic approach to how you are actually engaging with whānau and partnering actually with them. So perhaps you are experiencing the strategic level of Unshakeable, of being an emotionally intelligent community of learning. You may also, however, be operating or experiencing some of what I call the synchronized levels of development. So this is where you have a very whole school approach to emotional and social development within your youth, where you have a lot of it is quite widely spread. It's quite high level approach to this development, and it's possibly connecting with a whole raft of different approaches, but not necessarily totally synchronized. However, you or operating at a deeper level. You will see connected approaches to behaviour and well-being. So people are connecting, they are talking with each other. You will hear those conversations on what's needed for students, and people are not afraid to share ideas and practice and start to connect more with each other. You will also see some common language and understanding around social and emotional intelligence development. You will also see it visible in some curriculum areas, but not across the board, where some people will be trying to apply those or the skills or strategies or languaging at a particular area of curriculum. However, it's not, as I say, embedded or across the board. You will have engagement from families, not necessarily at their own doing, but you'll have to invite them and then they'll be engaged. So it's still a fairly lopsided relationship where the power is still with the school. However, we're seeing a little bit more engagement from parents around particularly their child and their learning and their emotional social intelligence development. So that's the synchronized stage or level of He Poutama. Then perhaps even you may be experiencing a more scattered approach within your organisation. So there are random actions from a few people. There's no consistency in terms of a whole school approach to the development of emotional and social intelligence. People might go off and do their own professional learning, come back with some tidbits from different areas. However, there's no connectedness. It's quite scattered in its approach and also quite shallow in its approach. You'll see an inconsistent approach to behaviour and well-being development within your learners. So there is no consistency across the board and everyone seems to be doing their own thing. There's a disconnected language and understanding. There are times where people won't agree upon languaging, or actually there will be a misunderstanding due to a misinterpretation of particular languaging in relation to social and emotional development. So there's no common page of understanding or languaging across the organisation around this. It will be obscure within your curriculum. So there is, if you went hunting for it, you may find elements of emotional and social development or coaching within the classroom practice or even in the planning, but it's fairly hard to find. There will be sporadic connections with family, often just during school events, not necessarily in any ongoing manner, that's for sure, and it will be probably more school-led than it would be family-led connections. So that's the scattered level of He Poutama Unshakeable. And potentially you are in survival mode. Your school could be experiencing this level of emotional social well-being, where people are working in silos. There is high behavioural and well-being issues that are not being addressed. There's no common language or understanding around this information or process or programs. There's a very disconnected curriculum, so it's still quite in silos, and there's certainly no evidencing of emotional or social intelligence development within that. And there are minimal interactions with family, and often when you do have those interactions, they are based on what's gone wrong and trying to address an issue rather than anything necessarily positive. So you may find yourself in any one of these levels, and if you'd like to find out more about this, then my gift to you is to actually to book a 60-minute emotional intelligence development strategy meeting or session with me and your school leadership team, so that we can have a look at and review where you are in relation to these different elements and start to look at where you might want to go forward from there. We also, so there are only 3 spaces available for that, so please contact me at mam@mary-annmurphy.com to lodge an application to be able to be part of that with me. And if you're also wanting to find out a little bit more, you can download my 6 ways to develop emotionally intelligent youth information sheet, and that will just give you some tips and tricks to start if you are wanting to look at playing with some of this stuff in your own practice. And also, if you're interested in finding out more about He Poutama Unshakeable, my emotional intelligence development program partnership with schools, then please follow that tiny URL to be able to connect there. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and when you know where you are on the unshakable levels, then you know that what you can start with and where you need to go forward, and to start to build that emotional and social intelligence competency and capability across your whole school community. So that we have beautifully unshakable school communities, youth and families and staff within our own school context. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. So thanks for listening, and take care, and bye for now.